You're not my wife, but the way you make me feel sometimes makes me wonder what it would be like if you were. The connection we share runs deep, yet it never seems to reach the place where I can truly call you mine. You're not my wife, and yet there's this constant pull in my heart, a feeling that I'm missing something real that we might never have, but I can't seem to let go of. You're not my wife, but I think about you in ways I shouldn't. The thoughts come and go, but when they linger, it feels like I'm caught between the person I am and then I wish I could be with you. I never thought I'd be here, thinking so deeply about someone who isn't my wife. It's strange the way my mind drifts to you when I'm alone, when everything around me is quiet, and all I have is the echo of thoughts I can't escape. You're not my wife, and maybe that's why I'm so afraid. If we were, would it feel the same? Or would the magic fade away, leaving me with just these questions and empty spaces between us? You're not my wife, but you're the one I think about when I wake up and before I fall asleep. There's something about the way you make me feel, something I can't explain, but I can't ignore. I don't know how to explain it, but even though you're not my wife, every time I see you, I feel a sense of belonging, as if fate had placed us in the same room for a reason, even if it was never meant to be. You're not my wife, and yet there's a part of me that wonders if we're not meant to be together. I wonder if I'm just too afraid of taking the step, or if it's something deeper, something we can never have. I feel conflicted because you're not my wife, yet my heart keeps telling me that you're someone I want to be close to. It's a strange dance of emotions where longing meets uncertainty. You're not my wife, but sometimes I imagine what it would be like to be in your arms, to have that comfort, that safety. It's a thought I can't shake, and yet I can't bring myself to make it real. You're not my wife, but I can't help but feel the weight of what could have been. It's like living with a memory before it ever happened, a dream that never took shape but always lingered in the back of my mind. The reality is, you're not my wife, and maybe that's why I'm struggling with these feelings. If you were, would we feel this way, or would the love fade, leaving only the echoes of what could have been? You're not my wife, and that thought often leaves me wondering why I can't move on. Why do I keep holding on to something that was never mine to keep? Maybe it's the hope of something that was never meant to be. Sometimes I think that if you were my wife, life would be simpler. But then I realize that it's not just about the title. It's about the connection, the deep bond that goes beyond words. You're not my wife, but in the moments when we're together, it feels like we are. There's an unspoken understanding, a kind of silent bond that transcends what we say, what we don't say. I don't have the answers. You're not my wife, and I'm still figuring out how I feel. Maybe it's love, maybe it's something else. But what I know for sure is that you hold a special place in my heart. You're not my wife, but somehow you've managed to occupy the space in my thoughts, reserved for someone truly significant. I'm not sure what that means yet, but I can't seem to push it aside. I never expected this to happen. You're not my wife, yet here I am, thinking about you constantly, wondering what it would be like to share my life with you in ways I haven't yet. You're not my wife, and part of me is okay with that. But then there's this part that wishes we were more, that wishes I could wake up beside you every day and know that we are each other's forever. The fact that you're not my wife leaves me with a lingering sense of unfulfilled potential. We're two souls that seem to fit together, yet we're kept apart by something neither of us can control. You're not my wife, and maybe that's why I can't seem to let go. It's like we're two people who were meant to be, but for some reason, we've never crossed that final line. I don't know how to make sense of this. You're not my wife, and yet I feel more connected to you than I do with anyone else. It's as if everything else is noise, and you're the only thing that matters. You're not my wife, but every time we talk, every time we laugh, I can't help but imagine a future where we're more than this. It's strange how the smallest moments make me think about all the things we could be. You're not my wife, and yet when you smile at me, it feels like I'm looking at the person I'm supposed to be with. I wonder if you ever feel the same way, or if it's just my heart getting carried away.